Good morning, everyone. This is Bukialaya channel. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for coming back to watch this video. Today we'll be making a top. It's just a simple top with two different fabrics. Okay, and so let's get into it. All right. So what will we be needing to make this top? We need our ruler, we need our curve, we need our scissors, and we need our chalk. Okay, of course we need our fabric. We have this one and we have this one. So the first thing we're going to do is mark 1/2 inch down the center front. Okay, we have the fabric with the open end at this side and the closed edge is on this side. On this end is where we're going to measure out our neck depth. On the top here, our shoulder. Okay, so maybe the first thing we should do is mark our starting line at the very top. All right, so we mark that. That's our starting line. I hope the chalk is visible enough that we're able to see. And then, like I said, we're going to measure 1/2 inch down the front for the joining. Okay, we can even do 1 inch. Okay, just so we have enough allowance on the front. Okay, on the top edge, we're going to measure our neck opening and our shoulder plus the sleeve. Okay, so for this particular design, we'll be doing 4 inches on the neck. Because this top does not have a zipper, the only way we're going to get into the top is by the opening on the top and of course the width of the sides. So we're going to do 4 inches for the neck. Depending on how wide you want it to be, you can do 4.5, but 4 inches should be adequate. Okay, for the shoulder, we know that our shoulder is from the end of one shoulder to the other divided by 2. For this measurement, we have 16 for the shoulder. That's 8 inches for the shoulder. Okay, and then we can take whatever we have left here as our sleeve length. That's about 8 inches. Okay, we'll just take it to the edge of the fabric right there. All right, the next thing we want to do is come down at our shoulder, at the edge of our shoulder right here. You'll come down by 1 inch or 1.5 as you like it. So we'll be doing 1 inch right there. Okay, so we're going to connect this 1 inch right here. We'll connect it to the neck point and all the way down to the end of the sleeve. All right, so the next thing we'll be doing, we've joined our neck point to all the way down to our sleeve opening. So for the front, the neck depth, like we said, this is an open top. There is no zipper, so we have to ensure that we have enough space with the neckline to be able to get into it. So I say 8 inches. 8 inches on the front here. Okay, that's 8 inches. Next thing, we join the neck points to our neck depth. The very next thing we want to do is measure our sleeve open wide. So we'll do 9 inches. 9 inches is okay. It's just 9 inches is fine. That's that 9 inches. Now, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the length of our blouse. Do that. So on this starting point, we're going to measure. First, you have to figure out what is your half length. That's your neck point to where your natural waist is. For this measurement, we have it at 16. Okay, 16 meaning that the hip will be about 6 to 7 inches down. We are going to do 6 inches down for 22. Okay, so this will be our blouse length. We don't want a crop length. We want it to be just a tad longer than a crop top. Okay, so we measure 22 for that. All right, then we add our allowance. From 22. We know that the top length is 22. We add 3 inches so that when we fold it, it can be a little bigger. I love the look when you make a blouse and the fold is just a little thicker. Okay, it makes it look really nice. So we're going to draw these lines across. Welcome back. So now that we've drawn the full length and the allowance for the length, we're going to find our body. Okay, remember I said we talked about our bust measurement from this point here. The bust measurement being 36 here, we divide that by 4 to get 9, right? So this is the actual length right here, the actual width, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to add some more to that. We're going to add allowance, and we want to add, I'll say 3 inches. 3 inches is just fine. That's just fine. Okay, so we draw this line down and we connect to where we have our sleeve here. So maybe first thing we do, we draw the line for the sleeve inward, and then we connect it with this line downward. So now we've connected the sleeve opening, we've connected it to the width of the body. Okay, so here we're going to do a small curve, and so we've cut the front of our top, we've cut it out. We're going to set this aside and we're going to cut the back of the top now. On this back fabric, we already marked out the top, you know, and we have our cutout. So we have our fronts, I meant. So for the front, we have this joining part, and we don't need that at all in the back. Okay, so we're going to move that to the edge of the fabric. You can even leave a little bit of space. Figure out what the depth of the back neck will be, because we're just going to trace out this shape, and then just figure out what the neck depth will be for the back before we cut out the facing. Okay, so for the back, just so there's as much room as possible, we'll be doing 2 inches on the back. Let's do 1.5 inch, so that once we turn it in with the facing, we then have 2 inches. So you can roll this out with a curve, with your curve, or you can do it freehand. If you want to use your curve, I know a lot of people prefer to use the curve, but I almost always go by hand. That just works. So next thing we're going to do is cut the facing for the back. I've slanted the fabric a little bit for bias and some flexibility after we cut the bias for the neck. So we place our fabric on it this way. Okay, place it on it just like this, and then we want to trace that out. Trace it out. Okay, I always like to leave extras on the top this way. Come back. We're going to cut the facing for the back, for the front out now, still from this slanted piece of fabric. Okay, we're going to place our fabric on it, our top fabric. Okay, place it on here. Okay, still on slant because we want some flexibility in the fabric. Okay, so like we did the other time, we're going to trace it out again. Trace it out, leave some space at the top just to cover for any excesses. So we've cut out our facing for the front. Okay, unlike the back, we didn't open up the back, but because this is for the front, we're going to open it up by cutting it down the middle right here. Okay, so then we're going to start joining the pieces. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the facing on both the front and the back. All right, once that is done, we'll join the other part. So let's go put the facing on and we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So we've joined the facing to the front of the fabric and to the back as well. The back also has its own facing right there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, what we're going to do next is we're going to join the shoulders. Okay, we'll join the shoulders like this. Once we join the shoulders together, okay, it should look something like that. We join the shoulders like we said, and then once we're done with that, we're going to fold back the arms, that's the sleeves, and then we do the base, the bottom of the top too. We fold that up. Okay, before we do that, you do use your serger to clean up the inside of the fabric, the joining of the fabric, and then turn this up to. Welcome back, people. So we've joined the center, we faced it on the front on both sides, faced the back, and we've also turned in our sleeves on both sides, as you can see. Also, this has also been done, the bottom part. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to sew down the sides. Okay, we sew down the sides and our top will be done. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our top is done. Okay, our top is done. If you're new on this page, we thank you for joining us. If you have watched this far, kindly subscribe and like for more videos. Also click on the bell so that you can get notifications for when we make other videos. For all of our subscribers as well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful week, people.